the link in the group.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right, we're live. Yeah, it's Nick Atkin, and I'm here with Chris Edwards Bailey. We may be lucky enough, Chris, to be joined by JHK, John Yonko, in a minute. He just woke up. He had to have his post-UFC nap because we're here to break down UFC Fight Island 7, aren't we? Holloway v. Kattar. A really fun main card, I think. A really fun event overall. First event of 2021. Let's dive into it, though, Chris. But first of all, how are you doing?
I'm good. Nice. Woke up early, caught the last 3 fights, and then caught up on the rest of the main card, and then watched the prelims after that. So I kind of went in reverse in a way. But apart from that, I'm pretty good.
Yeah, I had a bit of a nightmare. What did I do? I watched the first fight, Austin Lingo,
Yep.
and Killer Kilburn, and then I was just too tired. It was already about 2 a.m. because how long was the before they even got to the first fight? It was so long, right? They kept running the same fight pass adverts back to back to back. You know, the ones like the Nate Diaz, the Nick Diaz thing, and then the Israel Adesanya in the cage. It's like, God, I've already seen these 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, went to bed after the first fight because I was just shattered, and then I woke up about 7:30. The whole thing was finished. So I've just been going back through it now. Hence the delay, guys, for why we didn't get the show out straight away. But we're here now, aren't we, Chris? And we are here to talk UFC Fight Island.
The card was really, really long, and I think that might have some part with it being on ABC as well. Because on the main card, there was 2 gaps of 25 minutes in between fights with just really talking and advertisements. So I think being on ABC might have lengthened out the card.
Yeah, I'm sure that didn't help, or maybe it was a help, but it was cool. It's all fine.
Yeah,
no problem. 6 hours. Why not? That's fine. Anyway, let's start from the top, Chris. Let's go for it.
yeah.
By the way, anyone in the chat, please get your questions and comments in. And of course, we are here with Fanatics, the fantasy MMA app, and we used all their picks, didn't we, Chris?
Yeah.
So we're going to look at our picks, go through who was right, who was wrong. It was not a good day for you, was it?
No, it was not a good day. It started off quite well. I think I got the first 2 right. I finished the night with 6 L's in a row.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I
think I got, and I got 4 right out of the 10. And then to get if I got 4 right, I think it must have been the first 4. Then I got the last 6 in a row. So I don't know how to interpret that. Maybe I'm very good at fighters on the prelims, and then when it comes to the main card, I just know nothing. Who knows?
Yeah, I had a pretty shocking prelims, but I did recover slightly on the main card, and I got the Max Holloway result right, but I picked by submission. Obviously, it was a decision, so I didn't get I got a big red X there as well. But I think otherwise I got 4 fights on the main card right. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how to bring up the Fanatics Fantasy MMA table in this browser that they've made for me. But you need to if you haven't already, get yourself over to getfanatics.app, download the app, and join the SCMP MMA group. It's really simple. The link is down there in the description. And you can come and compete against me, Chris, John, all the guys from SCMP MMA. And there's a leaderboard at the end of each event, and there's a chat group so you can wind us up when you do better than us. I mean, Chris, pretty shocking showing. I may have to reconsider like who I used for my picks now on the previous shows. I mean, that was a stinker from you.
Over the 3 highlighted people in the group, I went 4 and 6. Nico SCMP went 5 and 5, and Drake Riggs really pulled it out with a 7 and 3.
Yeah, but Jasmine was the highest ranked. I think she didn't get second. All. Yeah, because I guess there are some intricacies with betting against Vegas favorites and things like that. Anyway, let's get into the fights. Max Holloway against Calvin Kattar. I'm going to bring it up on screen here. Fanatics provided me very kindly with this browser. I'll be working with the guys to get some more advanced post-fight data with fight metrics and things like that. But this will have to do for now. Winner Max Holloway, obviously 5 rounds. Unanimous decision. You can see we all picked Max there, Drake, Chris, and myself. It was a masterclass, wasn't it, Chris? That's the only way to put it, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean when you look at the scorecards to get a 50-42, it does show you how dominant the performance it well and truly was. Max pretty much from the very first round controlled the whole fight, faster hands, getting better combinations in. It did make me think the fight went on a little bit too long. I think there was a moment in the fourth round you could have stopped it. He nearly got finished. Was it at the end of the second or the third? He kind of got saved by the bell cutter. It was the second. Um, to have a judge give you a 3-10-8 rounds is pretty shows that the fight was very one-sided.
Yes, indeed. Now, Max Holloway. We got a comment here from Waleed. Let's bring this one up. Waleed, what's up? Thanks for joining us again. Was Max's performance the best performance in UFC history? I would say so myself.
Oh,
It's
wow.
up there, isn't it, Chris? I mean, in terms
Yeah.
of pure dominance, and if you put the setting, it was a fairly high profile fight.
Yeah.
You know, at the top of that division, really. Where would you rank it among the all-time great performances?
Yeah, I think it's one of the best performances we've seen in a while. Totally and utterly dominant. But we have seen some really dominant performances recently. I mean, the one I would always say if I had to go back would probably be John Jones Gustafsson too, because John Jones just dominated them every round, and Gustafsson's such a high level fighter. I mean, Kattar is ranked number 6, and he is there for a reason. And he did show a huge golfing class. But yeah, there's so much history in this sport. It's really hard to choose a best performance. But yeah, so we want the best performance of the last 12 months easily.
Easily, indeed. And now Max afterwards, he said, maybe I impressed Khabib, because we should have also talked about this at the top, maybe. The decision, Khabib Nurmagomedov, the big decision, they hyped it up for the main card, the first show on ABC. They were going to tell you if Khabib was going to stay retired or if he was going to come back. And in the end, Chris, it was a little bit of nothing's really changed. He may still come back and he may still retire. Slightly underwhelming, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was totally underwhelming. It didn't really make any sense. I mean, if it would have been a yes, we would have got a yes, and there would have been a lot of fanfare. But then I would say, on the other hand, maybe it was a no, and Dana's just trying to sell it as best as he can, because the problem is you can't really have this. You can't really come out and say no, because it kind of starts leaving off a bit poorly. So yeah, it's really hard to say. I don't think we're going to see him for a long time anyway. I don't think we'll see him in 2021. I think we're probably going to have to see something big in the division, with some clear favourites. That is kind of what Dana was saying in some interviews. Yeah, probably you've got a few guys, Oliveira, you've got McGregor, Poirier. I think there's going to have to be a few wins between them for someone to really cement themselves. And that's when we'll find out, because there will come a point where someone wins 3 fights in a row, for example, and Dana will have to give them the belt. And that's where we might see Khabib come back.
Yes, and he said, I will keep an eye on UFC 257 main event between Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor. If one of them does something to impress me, maybe I'll come back and fight them. So this was what Max was saying after he completely smashed Kattar. He said Khabib said he wanted someone to impress him, and that was surely pretty impressive from me. He pointed out they got unfinished business from April 2018, that very cursed UFC 223, I think it was, the main event, when Tony Ferguson fell out, and then Max jumped in late, and then he couldn't, he had that weight cut complications. It was pretty scary. So then Al Iaquinta went in for the main event, and Khabib was finally crowned lightweight champion. Yeah, Max feels he's got unfinished business. He thinks he's the kind of guy Khabib would like to fight. He fits that resume of legacy fight, more than maybe beating Conor again or Dustin Poirier again would do for Khabib. Beating Max Holloway, it's someone he hasn't fought. It's someone who dominated another weight class so spectacularly for a long time. Do you feel that is the fight to make if Khabib does come back, Chris?
For how exciting this performance was, and how what a masterclass it was by Max, I don't really think that Max is the guy that Khabib should be fighting. I mean, I think Max has unfinished business in his own division. I think he really needs to try and get a go at Volkanovski. And I can only actually see it if Khabib wants to fight someone from the division below. I only really see him going to Volkanovski because then you've got the two belts. That makes a bit more sense, and it's probably a little bit better for legacy.
Yeah, but Max also said he threw a bit more shade at Alex Volkanovski. He said Volkanovski says he doesn't want a tougher fight. He wants a different fight. So he was throwing a bit of shade there, hinting that I think the reports came out yesterday that Volkanovski's going to fight Brian Ortega in March.
Yep.
And Max is throwing a bit of shade. He's saying, I'm the toughest fight you've got. You're taking an easier fight against Ortega, a guy I completely destroyed a couple of years ago. Obviously, I think Ortega's leveled up since then. We saw it was Brian Ortega 2.0 against the Korean Zombie. But interesting stuff, yeah. I don't know what Max does next, because if he stays in featherweight and he doesn't go up to challenge Khabib at lightweight, something like that, what's the fight for Max?
Oh, that's a tough one. We've got Ortega fighting Volkanovski. I would like to see Max maybe. It all depends if Zombie can get a win in his next fight. But him versus Zombie, him versus Zabit, him even versus Yair would all be great fights, I think.
We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Sundar Roy, hello, sir. Thanks for joining us. What made Kattar earn the Max fight? He says he lost the first round to Stevens and a competitive win over number 15 Ige. This looks like irresponsible matchmaking in hindsight. Yeah, Chris, do you think maybe they threw Kattar in too deep? Was he really ready for Max Holloway?
I don't think he was ready, but look, he's 32 years old. Yair Rodriguez is 28. Max Holloway is 29. He's not the youngest person in the division. He needs to fight up. If he would have beat Holloway today, he would have been next in line for a belt. It was a good opportunity. I mean, look as well. Sometimes we criticize this sport because people never get a pick-me fight, and maybe Max got a slightly easier fight considering he went through two absolute wars with Volkanovski, and then you get criticized for bad matchmaking. I think it's just the way it kind of turned out. Kattar is a top level fighter, but maybe we just don't realize how good Max is. I have him ranked between 5 and 10 in the division, roughly. And it probably was the right fight to make. I mean, we did get a really exciting fight. Kattar was still trying to attack the whole time. But yeah, maybe it could have been called off a round earlier or so. It does make you think. The amount of damage that Kattar took this fight does make you think, if they would have stopped that in the third or the fourth, would that allow his career to last for a bit longer? Would it prevent him from any possible issues further down the line? We don't know. Don't know how his body's going to hold up, but there are certain fights out there where you see a remarkable change in the fighters after they have these kind of wars. You only have to look one fight down the card at Carlos Condit when he fought Robbie Lawler. Both of them weren't really the same after that fight.
All right. Max Holloway is the truth, says Bubba. Can't deny that. The Blessed Express is still on the tracks. The wheels are still rolling. I can't wait to see where he goes next. But as you just alluded to, good segue, Chris. We're going to talk about Carlos Condit, Matt Brown. Let me bring this Fanatics back up. Oh, I've lost you, Chris. I still need to figure out these damn buttons. Here we go. Yeah. All right. Carlos Condit, decision. What do you agree, Chris? I'm going to bring up the scorecard.
Yeah, see, I agree with the decision, but I'm not sure I totally agree with the scorecards. That's why I have a little bit of a problem.
Yeah. You specifically asked me to prepare this, and I forgot to show it. So I'm going to bring it in now. Let's bring up the scorecard. Would you like to see the one for Max as well, Chris? Or
yeah.
Okay, quickly look at that Max scorecard. Sorry. You already spelled it out.
It was pretty much like 50-42. I don't think I've ever seen a 50-42. I can't remember 50-42. I don't know if there's been one before in the UFC. Maybe someone knows out there, but we'll see. But yeah, a bit of a madness for sure. I actually had it probably the same as Mike Bell and Ben Cartledge. Probably 2 10-8s in there for me, but the result was right. But it's just in the next fight, in the Carlos Condit Brown fight. I just didn't. I gave the first round. I didn't give it to Condit, but I think all three judges gave it 30-27 to Condit.
Here we go on screen now.
Yeah.
Let me zoom it in. Yeah, all three judges 30-27 to the natural born killer. 30-27 doesn't seem right, says Bubba. I think you agree with Bubba, don't you, Chris?
Yeah, I just for you to spend 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes in mount on top position in a round and not really get the round scored. To me, that didn't really seem right. Yeah, but I had Condit win it. I thought he looked really, really strong. Some really nice takedowns. He threw more punches. He was more accurate with his punches. He got 2 out of 4 takedown attempts. While Matt Brown got 1 out of 6. Yeah, I didn't think Matt Brown. I thought he tired a bit, but it was a very, very competitive fight. Do you know? Did they get a fight the night bonus? Do we know what the bonuses were?
Bonuses was Max and Keator fight of the night, and then performances was the Leech.
Yeah.
And it's escaping my mind right now. I'll just check my emails. De Chirico, who we'll get to that in a bit. Yeah,
that was a fantastic knockout. It's very interesting, I think, after this to see where both of these fighters go. I know Carlos Condit, that was the last fight, I think, on his contract. He is apparently renegotiating. He does want to stay in the UFC, apparently. So I guess getting 2 wins is pretty good in a row. With Matt Brown, maybe he's just won the Diego Sanchez sweepstakes. Maybe we'll be able to see him fight Diego Sanchez in his retirement fight. Get 2 pretty good names against each other. What would be a fun fight and a little bit of a war.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good to me. Oh, here he is, the smart guy, JHK. Why does Nick look like an extra in the movie Point Break? It's called Hong Kong Chic, John. You wouldn't know anything about it. Just too stylish for you. Anyway, let's move on down this card. Actually, John had another point where he wasn't mocking me. He said, guys have fights like that all the time and come back fine. For example, Ortega. I think you talk about Keator there. Sorry, I missed your comments. What else do we got before we go on? Sepulot. If tech was better, I almost feel like there should be an accumulated neural damage meter, and fighters are only allowed to take so much damage in a given match. Keator had way too high KO tolerance. JHK agreeing. A lot of the shots Keator took were to the body. Oh, not agreeing, disagreeing. There you go.
Yeah, we have seen this with Max Holloway a few times in fights before. He gave so much damage to Ortega in that fight. I wanted Ortega to actually get knocked out to stop the damage. Arguably, you had a similar thing in the second Volkanovski fight, where I think he won 3 rounds in a row. Max does have this amazing ability to just keep putting out damage, but he doesn't ever seem to really have that KO power, particularly against the very, very top guys. That's why we love to watch him, because his output is tremendous. That's one thing I can say for Max Holloway. I think he probably right now has the best output in the whole UFC.
Samdut saying in the Condit fight, the only questionable round was round 1. We need to remember takedowns don't count much nowadays. Condit had 28-9 strikes when they were in that position, and Brown was barely advancing. Agree, disagree with Samdut before we move on to the Leech?
Yeah, I can agree with that take on it, but I don't know. I just feel for me that first round just was for Brown. I wasn't really arguing over the whole fight. I agree with the other 2 rounds. Condit was the deserved winner. He proved himself to have a good win. Be interesting to see where he goes on now in his career. Be interesting to see if he maybe makes another crack for the top 15, or whether he just kind of stays the gatekeeper just outside the top 15.
Luke Lopez in the house. Hey, Luke. How's it going? What's up, y'all? What a thriller. I thought he was going to finish Calvin like 8 times. Yeah, came close a couple times. Barbara saying, crazy how Max Holloway is just 29, statistically not in his prime yet.
Do you think that main event should have gone all 5 rounds, Nick?
I'm kind of on the same page as you. Could have been stopped.
I think sometimes if you save the fighter, they can have a longer and better career sometimes.
Yeah. Luke
Yeah.
Lopez. Co-main was so irrelevant, and it showed. It was. I think that matchup has fallen through. Is it 2 or 3 times? It's a bit of
Yeah.
a dream matchup for like hardcore fans, isn't it?
Imagine
And
this fight
two
in
veterans.
2013, 2014. It would have been amazing, even better than it was tonight.
Yeah,
But that's
I
when we
mean,
wanted it.
yeah, a little too late. Too little, too late, shall we say?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go to Li Jingliang. Oh wait, Diraj is here. Yeah, explain having a Chris.
Oh,
So I put in the fantasy app Fanatics in our group. We have a group chat, and I have christened it now. Having a Chris. When you
having
have a nightmare, you have a terrible event, a terrible night of picks. Chris is rock bottom of our league group in the SCMP MMA group on Fanatics, which you can download in the App Store, or you can go to getfanatics.app and it tells you everything. Chris had a stinking night, so that's what.
I'm bottom against the Vegas bookies, but on the win percentage, I think I'm ranked about 22nd. So I did get 40% of my picks right, but it's just I lost to the bookies. That's the problem.
Excuses
Yeah.
sounds like. Luke
Because
Lopez again.
one of the people who is ranked 13th, got nothing right and is ranked above me because the way the odds work. So that is a touch of soft
Yeah,
odds there.
maybe we can have a look and tweak the rules a little so Chris
Yeah.
doesn't lose again. Max looks shredded. 145 is sure his ideal weight class, says Luke. Somdet would love Condit Lawler 2 with Chris Lee robbing off Condit's time. Yeah, all right, let's go into the leech because this was fantastic. I'd love to show the KO on Twitter, drag it in, but we got our video taken down last time, so I don't want to mess with the UFC again. So we'll just have to show you these limited visual aids. That is not even the right fight, though. This is it. Li Jingliang, first round knockout of Santiago Ponzinibbio, Chris. And I made some notes here. I'm just going to say, I mean, Ponzinibbio's been out a couple of years, hasn't he? He had big win streak, a 7-fight win streak, I think, which was the third most in the division, a really stacked division and welterweight. Had all these injuries, staph infection. So ring rust, I guess, really did come into play here, but I don't want to take anything away from the Leech because he also had a lot to prove after last time out against Magny. He said the prep affected him, didn't he? Flying to Korea and then Thailand and then Vegas because of COVID, which was just starting to explode around about that time in March and all over the world. But yeah, Lee had that awkwardness of his movement with his head and his hands. He stunned Ponzinibbio with a thunderous left. Ponzinibbio was down and then he was livid with himself, wasn't he? I think Cormier was saying he was just kind of inviting Leech in, wasn't he? He missed with the big right hand power punch, and Lee was throwing that left hook, and then Ponzinibbio was completely out of position. 7th win by knockout for the Leech in the UFC, and the top 15 surely beckons, or at least a fight with someone in the top 15. Where does the Leech go from here? Where do the UFC go with him?
I think definitely back into the top 15. I would love to see him probably just get someone just within those rankings. I think, they keep talking about maybe doing a big card in China or whatnot, but I think someone like Bilal Muhammad or Robbie Lawler would be absolutely perfect. Bilal Muhammad is another fighter on the way up, or he could fight someone who's a bit more of a gatekeeper nowadays in a Robbie Lawler. I think that would be a great test for him. It would definitely show where he does stand in these rankings because that's the aim of the game, isn't it? To get into those top 15 rankings and keep climbing higher and higher and higher. So first of all, he just needs to hope he's in that rankings come Monday, Tuesday. And then from there, probably someone like a Robbie Lawler, maybe Jeff Neal, but that's a bit of a tough one, I think.
Yeah, it's weird because Ponzinibbio knocked out Magny, didn't he? And
Yeah.
Magny completely ragdolled
Yeah,
the
but
Leech.
the one thing is you have to remember Ponzinibbio was on a 7-fight winning streak, but it's been out for, 2.5 years?
Yeah.
Around that time. And I know, you do get people like Dominic Cruz on the commentary saying ring rust isn't real, but I believe in ring rust. I think it is something there. It does show you how competitive the UFC is nowadays. That Ponzinibbio's come back, he's fought someone who isn't even ranked, and he's got viciously knocked out.
It was a highlight reel knockout,
yeah.
wasn't it, Chris? I mean, I'm not saying the prelims were dull, but we had, I think, 5 decisions, and then we switched over to the first UFC on ABC card, and then we start the night with 3 first-round knockouts.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff. I guess Dana White and co.
And I think what was nice about them is I think each one escalated and escalated in the level of violence, how quick they are, how unexpected they were. I think it just grew and grew and grew. I think that's one of the problems with the card a little bit is we had that 30-minute gap between the Ponzinibbio Lee fight and the co-main event, which is because we had 3 first-round finishes so early.
Yeah, I mean, the one before that as well. We alluded to it a little earlier, but I wasn't expecting this, Chris. I mean, I think we both picked Buckley. You could see we all did, or Drake as well. Let's all check. Drake, Chris, and Nick all did it. Still need to put some of the other guys from the group, verified as SCMP MMA administrators, so their picks will also show up next time.
And that's also the thing to remember is we have to remember in these 3 fights in a row, to throw in the fight before this, the Todorovic Soriano fight, these 3 fights were all won by the underdog.
Yeah, it was a night for the dogs.
Yeah, it was a night of dogs.
Joaquin Buckley, yeah. So
this was just such a devastating knockout.
Yeah,
it absolutely derails the hype dream that is Joaquin Buckley. He was so hot, coming off good wins, fighting consistently, and then he was in had a song about him. Was mentioning a song by Kanye West. He had that probably the biggest viral moment of the UFC, maybe ever, but definitely in 2020. Knockout of the year winner. Probably maybe a nominee for Breakthrough Fighter of the Year, possibly. And Alessio De Cicero just really, really put a spanner in the works.
Yeah, I mean, Buckley didn't do the handshake before the fight. De Cicero was coming in on a 3-fight skid as well, as you can see, which John said in one of our podcasts, or it might have been you, Chris, when we were talking about it. It's always dangerous when you've got someone like that because they're fighting for their life, for their career.
Yeah.
And you could see the emotion when De Cicero caught him with a beautiful high kick at 2-12 the first round. Buckley tried to stand up and say he's okay, but he was hurt. And
it was a really, really tough knockout.
Yeah, and you could see the emotion for De Cicero. Easily the biggest win of his career. The Italians are back, aren't they, Chris? Marvin Vittori, Alessio De Cicero.
Yeah, and especially in this middleweight division. Got some strong Italians, a lot of very good, stronger Europeans in particular in this division. It's all looking good. Fantastic to see him get a win. The emotion was fantastic. Love to see that. Even Buckley, just it was nice to see the respect between the two. Even Buckley struggling on his feet, just trying to hug him, pretty much leaning up against him. It's just nice to see a little bit more new blood in this division.
Yeah, and Kevin Holland was immediately poking fun at Buckley on Twitter.
Yeah,
as you said, derailed the hype train a little bit. Did you ever believe that Buckley could mount a serious challenge, be a real threat in that division, or given how we saw he was knocked out by Kevin Holland, did you always feel he was limited, Chris? I mean, he did have that spectacular KO, yes, but... Oh, Chris is frozen. Where's he gone?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. You're back. Your video is still frozen, but your voice is back.
Okay, sorry, sir.
Oh, you're back now.
I've lost my train of thought. Buckley is a good fighter. He's still young. He can still change his game. There's definitely different approaches he can take. He has shown himself to be a little bit chinny. But we do have to remember, Buckley, while he did have a big year, he did get his name out there with what he was doing. He got himself onto main cards. Losing this fight is not such a big mistake in his career. Dick Carrico has lost to good people. I believe he lost to Kevin Holland a few fights ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buckley can definitely reshape his career. And it's just a bit of a shame, really, because I think if he would have won this fight, we could have actually seen him get a number next to his name, probably get ranked. But I would assume now he's probably built up enough goodwill with the UFC that if he does come back, takes a bit of time off, he could probably be going for someone maybe just on the edge of those rankings. I don't think there's a huge gap between him and, say, Ian Heinisch, Brad Tavares, Sharbazian is coming off a loss. So any of these guys would make good matchups for either him or Dicarico. I think either of them. It is sometimes really hard to tell because Dicarico has mostly fought, I think, on European cards on the UFC, and so he'd probably be fighting more on Fight Island. But yeah, I think they both have an upward trajectory in the UFC.
What about this? The first big KO of the night, Chris. You mentioned it there briefly. Wow, this was, I don't know, I think this was maybe my favorite of all of them. Just excellent. I think I'm happy because I called it for Puna. Who did you go for? Let's bring up the screen here. Let's check out our picks.
I think I was the only one who went for him.
Yeah, you didn't do too well there.
He was the bookie's favorite as well.
Well,
Vegas got it wrong a few times tonight.
Yep, as you can see there, Drake and I both picked Punahele Soriano. Chris went for Dusko Todorovic. Let me get out my notes. I was typing up some notes today. Here we go. Yeah, as the story was, wasn't it, Chris? Somebody's O had to go.
Yeah,
this is Todorovic's first loss. I think right at the start, Puna seemed to be wearing himself out, chasing a knockout. I think Cormier on commentary was saying he needs to just kind of conserve the energy and find the accuracy instead of he was just throwing full power and not landing. But then, just as they were talking about that, he landed and Todorovic went down, got up, but fell over backwards again straight away. Puna was trying to go in for a ground and pound, but the corner was saying, "Yeah, let him up." They want him back on the feet. Dusko was still a bit unstable, and then he caught him again with another beautiful shot. The mouthpiece flew out, and Todorovic dropped down against the fence. Herb Dean noticed that the mouthpiece was gone, and they found it. It was stuck between the canvas and the fence, wasn't it? So it kind of brought Todorovic a minute to gather his thoughts, and you just thought, oh no, Puna's not going to be able to get the finish here in this first round. There was only about 30 seconds to go. That didn't matter. He caught him again clean and got a huge finish, 4:48 of the first round, 12 seconds left. Is that a star is born? He's now 8-0. A very, very enjoyable performance.
Yeah, 100%. Particularly as well, good to be on a main card right in the on ABC on prime time. It's a good time to get your name out and to start a card off with such a good knockout. He's probably going to wake up with a few more Instagram followers and Twitter followers and hopefully a few sponsorship deals. Great fight, really entertaining for as long as it did last. Would it be fair in saying in this and the fight that followed it, in both ways they were kind of one in a touch from behind? Actually, no, Todorovic didn't really show enough for me. I just remembered. I thought he was fighting a little bit too much with his hands down. I didn't think he was using his kicks well at all. I don't think he was trying to really establish range. And, Puna was pretty much just hitting him. And every time he connected towards the end, he was just going down. Was it 2 or 3 knockdowns before it was finally finished? Just absolute devastating power, yeah.
Yeah, the second time he knocked him down, he very wisely just stood off and motioned him to come back up. Yeah. I think it was 3 knockdowns in the end. Yeah, very, as Zabi said, got crazy power, hasn't he?
Yeah, and we do have to remember as well, guys, this fight probably would have finished, about a minute and a half earlier if he wouldn't have lost his gum shield, actually, in the side of the octagon, because at that point, that kind of gave him a little bit of time to recover. Todorovic, though, after the first knockdown, he had lost his legs pretty much completely and was still pretty much struggling to have any movement, any footwork following it.
Yeah. Very impressive performance. Great start to the main card. The featured prelim bout, Wu Yanan lost a. Oh, I need to change the fight there, don't I? Let's scroll down. Bear with me, people, because obviously we did lose one fight. Philip Hawes and Nasruddin Imavov was scratched with a minor injury to Hawes on fight night. Wu Yanan, it was a pretty convincing decision for Jocelyn Edwards. We do not have a picture of Jocelyn there, sadly. The first fighter from Panama, Chris, to fight in the UFC, and a very, very impressive debut. A new talent in the bantamweight division. As sad as I am, obviously we are the South China Morning Post. We have a bit of a soft spot for a lot of the Asian fighters, but Edwards caught Wu's arm, in the first round. There's an armbar attempt for a while. Looked close to a finish at times, but she didn't seem to turn or attack the rest of the body the way Ronda Rousey would do with an armbar. Just was isolating that arm. Wu managed to get the elbow out, but Edwards got her back at the end of the round. A pretty dominant round. Wu did fight back in the third, I think, but Edwards was pretty damn good. And yeah, 30-27 on two of the scorecards, 29-28 on one of them. I don't think we can complain. What does the UFC do with Wu now, Chris? Do you cut her?
I gave all 3 rounds to Jocelyn Edwards. I think she's a great new talent. I think with both of these girls, you don't really have to do anything. You won't look to release them. I think if you do look at it, they're both very, very young. It's not the thickest division anyway. Jocelyn Edwards, she has a really, really cool style. She's really entertaining. Just to respond to Zabul's point in the comments. I think probably after this, you probably maybe want to give her an easier fight or give her someone coming into the UFC. She has struggled in her last few outings, but I think with Jocelyn Edwards, the sky is onwards and upwards. Looks like we could have a real star on our hands. Really solid, dominant win. There's not much else I have to say. I think the referees got it right. I think we both got our predictions wrong. Drake got this one right. I don't know what he knew. It was quite hard to find any footage of Jocelyn. But yeah, I thought it was an entertaining fight, and it was not a bad way to finish the prelims.
Yeah, sadly, I don't think I'm able to bring up the league table so we could fully shame Chris and myself after our torrid performances with our picks, and I think Drake did do a little bit better than us. Yeah, Wu Yanan, it's a little worrying though, because as you said, the division isn't very packed, but this was her real weight class after the one against Mizuki. Knew she went down, didn't make weight, but still got picked off by Mizuki. And then, this was her saying, "I'm fully prepared now. I've had a proper camp. I feel way better." And it was pretty flat from her. I thought she didn't show enough to suggest she can. I mean, we all know who's the big bad boss at the end of the. It's just tough. That division is tough for anyone, but. Yeah, what does the UFC do? We'll see. Maybe it's too early to say cut.
Yeah, she's 1-3. She has got to win. Both of those losses, all 3 of her losses have been decisions. One of them split. At the age of 24, I think it might be a little bit too quick to cut her loose.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay. Oh, look who's here. Nice of you to join us, John.
Oh, hello, John Yanko.
Big, isn't it? Isn't karma a terrible thing?
Where did you finish in the predictions, John?
Where did I finish?
Yeah,
at number 1 in my predictions.
Oh, right.
John didn't do it because the app is banned in South Korea.
Yeah, so that's not my fault. You know what I mean? Don't blame me for that. But I'm telling you, karma's a bitch. Hey, how do you know if I'm talking about you, Chris? How do you know? I'm not even talking about you. I was talking about what's his name? I don't even know. I was talking about Chris.
Yeah. Okay.
No, but hey, you can't pick great every card. You know what I mean? Like if you could, you'd be a billionaire.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is after one fight night or 3 or 5. Let's see what it's like in July when we've got 10-20 and we see the full clear picture of my prediction brilliance.
Yeah, let's record that right there. Let's make that a clip. And then we'll play that clip.
Clip that up.
Let's move on to the next fight, the big boys. And can we have a look at the predictions there?
Yeah, we all had Carlos, Felipe, Chris, Drake, and myself. So we were right. Decision. It was 29-28 on all 3 cards. 2 of them to Felipe, 1 to Tafa, obviously. This was a really fun fight. I think slightly unlucky, guys, maybe not to get a bonus there. I got some notes here. It's just, I mean, all you have to say is these 2 boys just went at it, didn't they? I think the memorable thing for me was right down the stretch at the end, they just started tearing into each other.
Yeah.
There's a lot of drama as well, and a lot of respect between them. Yeah, I really enjoyed this fight. Do you think, John, could there be an argument for Tafa?
No.
Yeah, I think there could have been an argument for Tafa. And also, there could have been an argument for Felipe getting points taken for poking him in the eye a few times. You know what I mean? I don't understand why they don't fix this. We're in 2021. You need to fix this. Like, the referees need to start taking points away, dude, for eye pokes. Like, you tell the fighters in the back, like, hey, these are the rules. You don't need to be eye poking people. Keep your fingers, up or close fisted. You know what I mean? You got to go in there. You can't just keep poking people in the eye. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but it was a good fight. And Felipe is tough, man. That guy, he has a chin on him because Tafa hits hard and he took some shots. And he even actually rocked Tafa, looked like, a few times. It was a close fight. You know what I mean? It could have went either way. I'm not going to sit here and argue for Tafa, but, it could have went either way. I'm just saying that right now.
It was a close fight. I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Good back and forward. Tafa probably didn't do as much damage as Felipe, but you know what? We should be celebrating this fight because people have banged on about how everyone in the heavyweight division is old. They're all names from 10 years ago. We've got 2 guys who are what their ages is it 24 and 25, 25 and 26. Super, super young for the division, coming in and putting a bit more life and blood into the division, giving us an entertaining fight. And actually, I thought both of them looked really, really fit and really, really athletic, particularly if you compare it to some of those guys in the top 15. I'm not going to call out any names, but draw a few guys there who I think would struggle against these Carlos and Tafa, actually.
Yeah, I think this fight for me, just you started hearing the fans going crazy, and I haven't heard that for so long. I think this was the first fight on the card where the crowd really warmed up. I guess they were still filtering in as well at the beginning, and there were enough fans to make some noise there, and they enjoyed what they saw, and it was just a fun reminder. Oh yeah, this is really awesome when you've got a crowd watching. I as much as I enjoyed the peaceful silence, getting to hear everything the coaches say and the tremendously loud thuds and thwacks of punches and kicks, really cool to have a crowd back, wasn't it, John? Just in some capacity, and an appetite teaser for the future when we're going to have full arenas again, hopefully next year or whenever have you.
I think it's a perfect balance right now of a limited crowd, and you're still able to hear the corners and the commentary clearly, and the fighters can hear the commentary clearly because we just saw it. You know what I mean? Even with the crowd, Max Holloway was yelling at Daniel Cormier that he's the best boxer in MMA, and that was one of the most, I don't know, epic moments in the octagon ever, man. Like him going backwards, looking at DC, yelling at him, and then Kattar swinging like hammers at him, and he just barely missed. We almost had a Chris Weidman, Anderson Silva moment, man. If Kattar would have connected, you never know what would happen. And there's a big if right there. But yeah, it was just fun. It's a good balance. Like if you get a good finish and you're screaming and yelling, there's a crowd to kind of back you up and hype you up a little bit more and make it the feeling more special compared to like when you remember when it first started and what is it? Gilbert Burns knocked out Damian Maia, I feel, in the first event with no crowds, and he was screaming and yelling, but there was nobody there. So it was a little bit less memorable. But man, it's good. It's a good balance, man. Slowly get back into it, and I kind of like it like this. But I did miss the crowd. I felt like we had enough of no crowds. You know, it was cool. It was a good novelty at the beginning, and I enjoyed it. But now it's like, let's get them back in there and make it a little bit more special.
Yes. Okay. Why don't we move down the card again? I'll bring the Fanatics back up. God, brain isn't working too well today. Didn't get too much sleep. Okay. Yes. Sarah Moras, Vanessa Melo. Vanessa Melo got the decision, guys. I have to confess, this one I didn't write many notes. Then I just wasn't the most interesting fight for me. I don't think either fighter could have been sure of victory. It was pretty tight from what I saw.
Can I be a little bit rude here, Nick? Can I say something? Yeah. You know how in the co-main event, the loser of that won the Diego Sanchez sweepstakes? They will get to fight Diego Sanchez in their retirement fight. You know what this fight was? This fight was the bare knuckle sweepstakes. Sarah Moras, bare knuckle is calling. You've got a losing record. She's been a competitor in the UFC since, 2014, 2013 now. I think this is the end of the road. Vanessa Melo doesn't have she's won 1 out of 3 fight. Won 1 and lost 3 in the UFC. I don't really think that of the caliber to be in the UFC personally. We'll probably see Vanessa Melo get a few more runs out, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Sarah Moras over in bare knuckle fighting a Paige Van Zandt or a Rachel Ostovich in the next year or so.
And more importantly, we all picked it wrong there. We all went for Sarah Moras. Zabel says this fight was kind of a stinker. Sepulot, this fight reminded me of Evasion Drills from TKD. John, I think this was easily the weakest fight of the night, wasn't it? Didn't really get the blood pumping for me. Just kind of meandered towards the end. I don't think we spend too much time on it, but just if you have anything to add, please go for it now.
Well, Sarah Moras, man, she came out, and if you know about her fighting style, she can go to the ground, she can submit you, ground and pound, and all of that good stuff. And she didn't do any of that, you know. And she basically just ran around the cage, trying to jab, and then rarely threw a combination. And what Melo did was she came forward and just kind of chased her around for the whole fight and landed the harder shots, the most devastating shots, bloodied her a little bit in the mouth. And that's what the judges saw, man. That was plain and simple. That's what happened in the whole fight, was Sarah Moras trying to jab her way around the cage. And I don't know what she was doing, man. Like, it was very surprising, like the game plan that she was putting forth. And she didn't even change anything as she went through the fight. You know what I mean? Like, it was, I don't know, it was weird. And it even like for both fighters, you got to look at it like this. You know, I got, you know, both fighters, they're fighting for their job basically, because they don't have the best records. And Melo, she's on a 3-fight losing streak, and she has to win this fight if she wants to stay with the UFC. Moore, she's lost her last 3 out of 4. Or maybe last 4 out of 5, and she has to win this fight. And Melo came to fight and keep her contract. Sarah Moras, she didn't fight to win, man. It was just that plain and simple. And that's the fight that we saw. And I was kind of disappointed, man, in the fight. It was just, I was watching it. I watched the whole thing, and I was just surprised at what transpired. It was weird.
Moras is 2-6 in the UFC. I don't know if that's really sustainable.
No, John, did you stay up and watch it all? Because we were talking right up until the event started. We hung around after we finished our podcast. Did you go to bed? Did you wake up? Talk us through your fight experience.
I watched it all. Like, I watched it, and then I was kind of like going in and out during the co-main event, like the Carlos Condit and Matt Brown fight. I was going in and out, right? I was laying down, like, watching it. And then I fell asleep, and then I woke up at like in the middle of the first round of the Max Holloway Calvin Kattar fight. And then when I saw that, my eyes just like boom, and I started watching the rest of that fight. that was just that was my experience. I watched everything except for like bits and pieces of the co-main and in the first half of the first round of the main event. But other than that, I did watch everything.
Good to hear. I did not. I must confess, I went to bed after the first fight. The eyes were droopy
for the last 3 fights.
Yeah, so I just
and then I watched it in reverse.
Yeah, well, it was a good show. All right, we got 2 more fights to get to. Here we go. David Zavada against Ramazan Amiev. Amiev got the decision.
Can we see who got the picks here?
Yeah, let me scroll down. Okay. I went for Zavada. I did not get that correct. Chris and Drake were right. So I tip my hat to them. Well done, Chris.
You got to think he wins where you find them.
Yeah. Of course you wanted me to scroll down. I enjoyed this fight, guys. It was very competitive first round, wasn't it? Zavada had a bit of success with calf kicks. Wasn't able to follow it up, but a close second round again. Zavada showed better takedown defense to force Amiev to come up for the underhooks. Coaches were advising him to stay out of Miev's reach after hitting those low kicks. Miev tried to get a choke in the third round, but Zavada turned it around in his favor, got the takedown after giving one up earlier in the round, mounted Miev for a little bit. Miev seemed a little more fearful of that low kick, but staggered him with a nice left hook, went the distance. Great effort by both. I thought all 3 cards, 29-28, split decision to Miev. Miev is now 5-1 in the UFC, and does he deserve a big name next?
I think one of these guys should be fighting. Maybe, I don't know, with him coming off a win and being Chinese, he might get pushed ahead a little bit further. But either of them fighting the Leech or Ponzinibbio, I think would be fantastic.
Yeah, John, do you have a
Amiev should fight the Leech, or Zavada should fight the Leech?
Amiev, I think.
Amiev, yeah. Because Zavada got TKO'd by the Leech already, right? So
yeah.
Amiev he's on the streak, you know what I mean? And I thought Zavada did much better than a lot of people expected in this fight. I feel like a lot of people expected that Amiev was going to go in there and steamroll Zavada, and Zavada showed many layers to his game. He's still improving, and I feel like the UFC is going to keep him around and have him continue, right? Germany doesn't have many representatives in the UFC, so that's one advantage that he has. So hopefully, let's see Zavada fight Ponzinibbio. I feel like you should just put that together, right? Just let these guys. But for the Leech, I don't see the Leech fighting Amiev. Amiev is gonna fight some other guy coming up. He just doesn't have that star power. Like if he's winning a bunch of fights, but really many people don't know who he is, right? Yeah. So I could see him fighting some other guy that's coming up, and until he gets on some like ridiculous run, or he starts finishing fights, then that's when he's gonna, they're gonna give him some, some decent names or somebody that's higher up in the rankings.
Can I ask you guys one question? With this being such a good fight, with the Felipe Taffa fight being so good, do you think the Holloway Kattar deserves to be the fight of the night over these 2 really tight contests, tight fights that were they were more 2-sided rather than being totally one-sided? Do you think that kind of fight deserves fight the night above a one-sided masterclass?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Chris.
Kattar and Holloway should not have been fight of the night.
No.
It was Holloway should have got performance of the night, and Taffa and Felipe should have got fight of the night. That fight was very close. Both guys were getting hit hard, and it was pretty even right throughout the most of the fight. This Zavada fight, I don't think it was fight of the night. I don't even think it was close, right? It was a close fight, but it wasn't nothing like the Felipe Taffa fight. But yeah, I don't understand like why they gave Holloway
the fight of the night should be a close fight and a really entertaining fight. It shouldn't be a 50-42.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just, I feel like if you're going to give out bonuses, you should probably target the bonuses to the guys that are on the prelims or guys down the line, because they're not getting as paid as much compared to the main event fighters. So, unless the main event fighters put on like a hell of a show, you got to give the bonuses to the guys that are coming up. They're the ones who need it the most.
Do you think it was just an excuse to give an extra 50 G's to Max because Dana likes him, and to give an extra 50 G's to Kattar for taking such a beating?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, if you put it that way, if I'm Keator, yes, of course I want that 50K for taking the beating, but I'm pretty sure they're getting compensated really well for just being the main event.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
sure.
Like, I think the UFC does, pay more for being a main event, going the extra 2 rounds. And I don't know. That was weird. That was weird that they gave them fight of the night. It's sometimes the UFC, they do that. Sometimes they give the prelim fights fight of the night, and then you think like the co-main deserved it, and they don't get it. And I don't know, man. I don't know what. I think the fans should be able to like vote on it, to be honest with you. Like during the fights, fans should be able to like vote on, like, throughout the night, vote. You know, like the NBA All-Star game. Vote.
Yeah, isn't the problem with the vote? The problem is that if you're the first on the main event, you have such a big advantage because people can start voting for you from when you have your amazing fight, and the people in the main event maybe won't get as many votes. I don't know.
No, because most people start watching the cards on the main card, so they haven't even seen the fights in the prelim. So that could actually work to the disadvantage of the guys in the prelims.
Yeah, but if you're the first one on the main card, you're probably going to have a bigger advantage in the main event.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is most people don't watch the cards until the main card starts.
Yeah,
so they're not even watching the prelim. So there will be more people, more eyes on the main card, and more people voting possibly. So it's I'm just throwing the idea out there. Probably it's not gonna work, because like I don't know how many people would actually vote. That's another problem, right? So it's just weird, like how they do the bonuses.
I'd like the bonuses. I'd like them to kind of copy football or soccer like they do in Europe. And I'd rather the commentators gave it. They usually give out 3 awards. I'd rather at the end of the night the 3 commentators gave out the awards rather than Dana. I think it'd be a little bit more transparent. I think it'd be a little bit of fun, and it'd be kind of akin to like a man of the match or MVP moment.
But the thing is, Dana could just tell him what to say. That's another problem too. Yeah, but you're right.
But then we get told it live. We get to hear it live, and if we have criticisms, we know who we can really aim our criticism at.
Or we could use the myfanatics.app to decide. Maybe that's an option that you guys could put on there. The what is it? The developers of the app is put that option there, and people can vote on that on the app. I don't know. It's just an idea. I should be working for them.
Well, hopefully soon, John, you'll be in Hong Kong with Chris and I, and we can all go to their studio, their brand spanking new podcast studio they're going to build, I've been told, and we can do some stuff together there. That would be really fun, wouldn't it?
That's something we could do that nobody's doing right now.
Yeah.
Which would be phenomenal. I think that would change change the game a little bit, because who's doing in studio stuff? Not even ESPN is doing that.
I mean, I like doing this stuff at home. It's easy in terms of just it's 2 yards from my sofa, but I wouldn't mind getting some high quality internet there. I do not have good internet in my
building. But the thing is, it's different when you're sitting in front of the people. It's just a whole nother. Like the conversation is different, like when you're actually face to face with somebody, it's more fun. I think that's why Joe Rogan Experience is the Joe Rogan Experience. That's why it's so different, because if he was doing that from remote locations, I don't think it would be as successful as it is now. So it's just a thought. But anyways, that's a pipe dream. We're talking about like 2050. That's what ends up happening.
Well, guys, what you can do to help make that pipe dream a reality? What can they do?
You can like and subscribe to FCMP MMA on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram. And don't forget to check out our good friends app over at MMA Fanatics. The greatest MMA app in the world.
Hashtag get JK to Fight Island. There's the new hashtag. Get JK to Fight Island.
Donate. Yeah, we need to get John just over to Hong Kong first, I think, for some. It'd be cool, really cool to do the podcast. But yes, guys, please, the biggest way you can help us out is just downloading this app, getfanatics.app. You can go to the App Store. You can go to that link there, and then just sign up for that. It's all free, no money, nothing like that. Hopefully, there's even going to be prizes very soon for the winners each week. It's
One
just really fun.
Bellator, UFC, everything you want, all your statistics. Who needs Tapology? Who needs ShareDog? You get it all on one app. You get the fight odds. You get everything you need to know. You can look at my picks. You can look at Nick's picks. You can look at Drake Riggs' picks. You've got people from all over the industry. Everyone's going to be joining this app soon. It is going to blow up. I mean, this is what One Championship Super App should have been.
Yeah, and these guys, let me tell you, the guys behind it are very, very smart. They're very good at what they do. It's a big tech company, and this is a side project for them, but they really want to throw some weight behind it. So if you help them, you help us, and then we can make all our dreams come true, which is what we want to do. But anyway, we got one more fight to get to, guys. Actually, a couple comments first. Jason K saying, South China Morning Post MMA. Yes, exactly. This is us. Love the posters and Funko Pop. Yeah, I need some MMA themed Funko. I've got Thor and Tony Stark from Spider-Man.
For real? That's what it is? I thought it was just like, I thought that was you. Like, one is you as a kid and one is you now.
Well, that's pretty good. Give you that. I wanted to get the UFC ones from their store, but they don't deliver to Hong Kong. So they have McGregor, Khabib, and GSP, I think. And then the guy who makes them, the personal ones, MMA bobblehead, those are very expensive, and he also does not ship to Hong Kong. So we'll see what we can do there. But I'm gonna hopefully get some more posters and stuff behind me. Anyway, Sepiolot saying if we really want to make it like soccer, we could just replace the cage with a turf. Yeah, why not? Let's mix it up a little bit, guys.
Imagine the turf burns on people's buttocks, right? It's just that's nasty.
That would not be good. Okay, let's start with this one. Let's end with this one. Sorry, I caught this fight. Actually watched this one live around about 2 a.m. or whatever it was in Hong Kong. Austin Lingo getting a pretty wide unanimous decision against Jacob Kilburn. I think one judge had him, or two judges had him with the 10-8s for the first round. I'm going to bring up the scorecard actually.
Can we scroll down a touch on that screen for a moment?
Don't embarrass me. I just liked the way Jacob Kilburn sounded in his interview with John. I thought he was really going to step it up. And who's he training with now? Yeah, he's with American Top Team. Is he? Oh God, who is it? Yeah, and
American Top Team.
Yeah, and they don't take anybody down there. So yeah, but look, Austin Lingo just came out swinging, didn't he? Kilburn was eating by so many crazy shots. It looked like he was in trouble about 5 times in that first round. Just kept walking into these shots. But it said a lot for, how tough he was and how strong his chin was, because Lingo could never quite put him away. Still, Kilburn kind of kept resorting to the panic takedowns. I think 2 judges gave it 10-8 in the first round. I think I was in agreement with that. I don't think you could have any complaints about it. Kilburn put on a better showing in round 2 and 3. Had an attempt at the Kimura in the second, but Lingo showed some good scrambling, and he had much more improved takedown defense, I think. So pretty comfortable in the end. Really good showing for him, I think, wasn't it, John?
Yeah, it was phenomenal showing from him, and he kept it basic too. It was not like he was doing anything fancy. Kept it basic, and he knew what was going to get through, and he was landing with accuracy and with a lot of power. And Kilburn was just getting hit. He was getting lit. He was getting lit up. And Lingo. One thing about him is he showed good takedown defense. It was almost like a similar. It's like a lower level version of the Max Holloway Calvin Kattar fight. It was just very similar to that in many ways. But yeah, there's not much to say. These guys are guys coming up, and Lingo, he showed a lot more compared to his first fight, his last fight. And Kilburn showed that he's getting better, but it's just not his night against Austin Lingo, man. And Lingo and I got to say, Lingo is a cool name. I like it.
Yeah. Indeed. 2 10-8s in the first round.
Yeah, this was always going to go Lingo's way, the former LFA champ. I thought he showed some really, really good skills. I think probably after this, he'll probably look to fight someone just outside the top 25, top 20, probably, just about there. Because they do tend to push the LFA guys quite a lot, don't they, when they move over to the UFC?
Yeah. I mean, there we go. Okay, yeah. So that's about it for the recap. What do you got going on, John? What's the rest of the day look like for you?
The rest of the day, I got an interview later on today, with a fighter. I'm not gonna say who. Then I got a bunch of interviews coming up in the next couple of days.
Surprise.
Yeah. But other than that, man, it's a chill day. I'm gonna chill out. It's Sunday. It's the Lord's Day, even though I don't go to church. But you gotta have one of those days, man. You gotta have those days. But it's open. What about you guys? How's Hong Kong like? Like it's opening back up like more in Korea now. Like they're allowing like restaurants to be open much longer, and I think the coffee shops are opening back up. They were closed for like 6 weeks. All coffee shops. Like there was only takeout. Nobody could sit in the coffee shops. But now I think starting tomorrow that everything's gonna open back up, which is a good sign.
I think we're about 6 weeks into a latest lockdown, and I think fingers crossed, Chris, is it right? It's all gonna ease off a little bit on the 21st of January. That's the date.
We will get an update, but we'll see. It's hard to see what they're gonna do. Pretty much everything's normal until 6 p.m. and then everything closes.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
People are working from home.
Yeah, main thing is gym. Hoping gym open again.
Yeah, gyms and like they're like gym owners and like anything to do with like physical activity, like they've been all shut down. So like they're all protesting in front of the government buildings, all the owners, because they've been dead in the water, right? 6 weeks, 5 weeks of just no income, nothing. So I think they're suing the government, which is crazy. They're suing the government for the government. What the government's trying to do is they're trying to keep us safe to limit the spread of the virus, but these guys are suing the government for doing that. And I don't know. I understand the side of the business side, but then I understand the side of the government. It's like, what is this battle, man? This battle of suing the government for trying to keep everybody safe. It's weird, man. This virus has made some awkward situations for a lot of people, but
yeah,
what can we do, man?
I mean, it could be my last day in Hong Kong. My visa runs out tomorrow, January 18th. Yeah. And I applied for my renewal about a month ago, but despite repeated requests for an update, there is no news. And I think they tell me there's a huge backlog of cases because half of the immigration department was not even in the office, and they've only just gone back from working from home. So yeah, Chris, I'm going to be an outlaw after midnight on Monday. I'm pretty scared. You might not want to be seen with me. I'm a criminal, I think.
Yeah.
Well, if you're a criminal, why are you telling us on like live?
Oh yeah, just giving it
He's
away.
a stupid criminal. That's why he's a stupid criminal.
I don't think he's a criminal. I think like the immigrations, like you just said, they're backlogged, and once they're backlogged, that's their fault. And I don't think they're gonna be. It's not like you're some guy that's like has no job and he's just like floating around and like, like pimping and going around with the hussies and all that. No, you're just doing your work. So you'll be all right.
You obviously haven't seen Nick Atkins in a nightclub.
Oh yeah, I heard they call him the Hong Kong Keanu Reeves.
Oh wow, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
no one's for that.
It's the hair. It's the hair.
Yeah.
I have got important news on the haircut front. I will be getting my first haircut in about 10 months on Tuesday, provided I don't get kicked out of the country at 1 minute past midnight on Tuesday. Yeah, so I'm just going to get the back trimmed, Chris and John. I'm going to
don't cut it, dude. Just keep going.
The back is very much longer than the sides and the top, so I'm just shaping it. Still keeping the same look.
All right.
But
get the man bun.
I think you should take a picture of an MMA fighter and copy their hairstyle. Just show it.
You should get a mullet.
Yeah, like Tanner Bosa.
No mullets here.
Yeah,
come on, man. British mullet. Let's get the British mullet going. Okay, if we get 10,000 people to subscribe onto Fanatics, the Fanatics app, Nick will get a mullet. I just put it out there. So
not promising that.
Okay, A, B, C. A, you shave your head. B, you get a mullet. Or C, you send a piece of your hair to everybody that signs up for the app.
I cannot accept this. I've been growing this hair for about 18 months, so I don't want to shave it in any way. Or I'll think of some other thing we can do, a fun giveaway. I mean, this hair just grows so slowly.
Cornrows.
No way. I think that will pull my scalp. I think white people aren't meant to have braids, right? Because it just kind of really pulls your hair away from the scalp. And
I think you should go for it, man.
Yeah. No way.
Yeah.
No way.
You should get the Shirley Temples.
I just want to tie it up at the back before the summer returns. How many months have we got left, Chris? About 3 before it gets hot again.
Yeah.
Get the hair out of my face.
Or get a Jared curl.
I guess all options are on the table. Why not?
Jared curl would be the best because you'd be starting a new trend.
Yeah.
I used to actually try and get the I would try and emulate that haircut that's kind of really popular in Korea. Yeah, like that look with I think you've got that haircut, John. I used to really want that. I kind of had a similar one about 2 years ago. Not looking as good as yours though.
The K-pop cut.
Yeah, the K-pop cut. Like that was my old go-to haircut, but it doesn't look good when you're really fat and yeah, I just didn't have the style to pull it off. You know, it looks.
You have the style to pull it off, Nick. 100%. If you watch some of those One Championship promos, you look dashing.
Oh yeah, featured in their New Year's video, I think with Leon. They took a clip from one of our podcasts, which was pretty cool. I haven't made it onto the UFC yet. I saw you pop up on there, John, in that first fight. You were one of the first tweets that showed on screen in UFC last night. You're a bit of a regular now.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Are you on the UFC payroll, John?
Yeah, it must be.
If I am, I don't know about it because I ain't getting no money for it. Shit. But I wish I was, you know.
Yeah, because we've got a big week ahead, really, in the fight game. We've got midweek show on Wednesday. We've got One Championship on Friday, and then we've got the big one, UFC 257, on Saturday night.
Yeah, I went to with Chris the other day, and he had his notepad out, and he'd made all these plans for we're gonna do the preview on this day, and then the recap at this time, and then he's got the whole week mapped out for me. So, Chris, tell me when we're doing the preview for the next Fight Island show. What was
my plan was, I was wondering, do you want to go live later today?
Yeah, we could. I got the Panther and Omar Kane, the face-off.
Yeah.
Rug. About 3 o'clock in maybe 3 hours time, live from Singapore. That should be really fun. I could probably do it after that, and then I'm going to settle into some nice Premier League football later.
It's the big one.
Yes, sir. It's Manchester United v Liverpool at Anfield. Chris and I will be going head to head again, won't we? After our pick. Yeah.
Well, let's hope it doesn't go like the picks. Let's hope it doesn't go like that at all.
Oh, I hope it does go like the picks and you lose. You're welcome to watch me. I don't know if you will be awake, but I may be doing it on my roof here. Get the barbecue going. I do think the 8 p.m. game was cancelled though, Everton and Aston Villa for COVID. So that sucks. But Spurs v Sheffield United at 10, I think. And then the big one, Man United Liverpool, 12:30 a.m. Hong Kong. Yes, we could do a preview later. What's the next card? We could maybe have a quick look at it now before we get into that, or should we just shut this shit down? What do you want to do?
I'll be more up for talking about it later, but it's up to you. Yeah. I'm excited, Case and Magny, and we also get to see Munir Aziz fight again, who is such an exciting fighter.
Yeah, we'll do a proper one later today or something like that. Yeah, let's not get into it now. Okay, why don't we leave it there, guys?
Peace.
Yeah. So thank you, Chris. Thank you, John. You go find those guys. Their handles are up there on the screen. Chris, one final time.
Hey,
What have
if you
people
want
to do?
more of this fantastic content, if you want more podcasts, you want live streams, you want some of the best interviews in the fight game with people like John Hunko, people like Drake Riggs, the occasional interview with Nicholas Atkins, some of the best people, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Twitter, our Instagram, personal handles. Don't forget them too. And most importantly, big up MMA Fanatics, and thank you very much for allowing us to use your app, allowing us to use your fight metrics and information and whatnot. Like, subscribe, download the app, and join in the conversation with us. I had a bad week this week. I went 4-6. Everyone can do better than that. It's not that hard. Well, let's find out. Join MMA Fanatics.
That's it, guys. Go to the link in the description. Join MMA Fanatics, and come and test yourselves against us. We're not very good, are we, Chris? So it's pretty easy to beat us on
Yeah.
today's.
On today's show for sure. But hopefully, with 3 events this week, we should be able to build up a good kind of ranking, hopefully, with all the fights.
I do believe they're working on something, John, so that you will be able to get on the app too. That's what happens. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, big thank you to everyone, as usual, who's been in the comments there in the chat. Some new people have seen, some oldies, some goodies. Yeah, we really appreciate all the interaction. It really makes it worth it. And just keep watching, guys. We should be back later tonight. We'll definitely be back tomorrow. We'll be busy week, guys. We got 2 more UFC shows. We got 1 championship back on Friday as well. It's going to be hectic. I think we'll be doing live shows every day. So keep it here on SCMP MMA, please. And we'll see you